Hello, great to have you with me today. I just want to try to answer a question that sometimes comes up from people when if we're witnessing to people and they kind of turn around and say something like, well, how can you say that the Bible's true? How can you defend the Bible? Isn't it just a book with fairy tales and rules and regulations? And it's one of those ones that's tricky to answer. There's some preachers that when you're listening to them, what they're saying and the power of what they're saying makes the hairs on the back of your neck stand on end. They have a way of delivery of truth that you just blows you away. It makes your heart beat faster as they're speaking. And one of those, for me, was a gentleman called Ravi Zacharias. Sadly, Ravi Zacharias passed away last month on the 19th of May after a 4-month battle with cancer. He was a great Bible expositor and preacher and teacher, a great man of God and a popular author. He was known for his work through Ravi Zacharias International Ministries, or ARZIM for short, which focused on apologetic arguments for the existence of God and the reasonableness of Christianity. He preached in more than 70 countries and authored more than 30 books in his 48-year career, teaching Christians to engage with skeptics and arguing that the Christian worldview has a robust answers to humanity's great questions of our time. He will be sadly missed, a great loss. But we don't just see it as a loss, do we, as Christians? We see that he's been promoted to be with his Lord. But I would recommend that you search him out on YouTube, Ravi Zacharias, or ARZIM for short. You won't be disappointed. So in answering a question like why the Bible and not any other system of belief or system of thought, Ravi Zacharias answers a question like that in quite a powerful way, and I just want to just cover his answer to a question like that. He was very used to going into universities around the world. He's been into all the top universities: Oxford, Cambridge, Harvard, Yale, Princeton, and all around the globe. And he would do a talk on the Bible to students, many of them with atheistic backgrounds or atheistic beliefs, some very challenging questions. He'd have an open forum that they could ask any question they like. And one of those questions, of course, is how can you believe that the Bible is true as opposed to anything else? His answer would go something like this: there are 60 different books in the Bible, 40 different authors over 1,500 years. There are books on history, there are books on philosophical thinking, there are books on theological thinking, there are books on systematic thinking. If the Bible made certain assertions, one after another, that you found to be false, either historically or philosophically or in the existential realm, if you see that kind of systematic contradiction and failure, then you have reason to believe that I cannot really trust this document. But when you look at the scriptures and you take the prophetic schema all the way through, all the way down to the person of Jesus Christ, what you see is the opposite of contradiction. For instance, Daniel, the book of Daniel, written in the late 500s BC, talks about an empire coming into being. And that empire will be led by a strident he-goat from the west, who will be marching several nations underfoot. However, he will be suddenly cut off and his empire will be divided into four, Those will then be divided into two, and those will blend into one. When you take Daniel's prophecy, written in the late 500 BC, and place it into the era of Alexander the Great in 300 BC, 200 years later, you see the stridency of Alexander, suddenly cut off in his 20s, his empire divided by his 4 generals. Those 4 come into 2, the Ptolemy and Seleucid empires, that emerge then into the Roman Empire. When you see the prophecies of Jesus Christ on the cross in Zechariah and in Isaiah, when you see these prophetic pictures coming into pass, immediately you see the supernatural at work. You see the supernatural hand behind the writing of the Bible. So when you take the historic, you take the philosophical, you take the existential, you see there is an authenticity, and it all points to one perfect person all the way down through the body of Scripture. That one perfect person, of course, is Jesus Christ. If you are debating with a skeptical non-Christian, I would also say to you, maybe check out the videos that are posted by a group called the 1 Minute Apologist. There's a lot of them on YouTube and they're really helpful, especially when you need to answer some quite difficult questions. And they are in very short bursts. There's a lot that is there, will support what we believe. There's a lot of truth, there's a lot of evidence behind what we believe. It's not blind faith. So have confidence. God bless you.